Hi, it's Michael Kerr here, presenting Small Business Banter. A healthy micro and small business sector means a successful economy and a more vibrant society. Small Business Banter is about helping regional business owners better prepare for current challenges, but also for the next stage of business success. I'm Michael Kerr, founder of Kerr Capital, advisors to business owners. Each week, I interview a fellow small business owner or an expert, and they share their stories, their lived experiences, the wins and the losses, and their best advice to help you, the listener, get the most you can from your own business. Small Business Banter is brought to you from the studios of 104.7 Gippsland FM and is heard across Australia on the Community Radio Network. And thanks also to Kerr Capital, supporters of the show. Okay, so welcome into another edition of Small Business Banter Radio. This morning, I have Annie Woollard talking with us about the Sustainable Development Goals. She's a lifelong educator and now a global educator on the Teach Sustainable Development Goals. So firstly, welcome in, Annie.
Hi, Michael. Thanks for having me.
No, it's a really important discussion and very much looking forward to it. So just to get us underway, could you give us a little bit of your personal background as an educator and then your move into a business around the Teach Sustainable Development Goals?
Sure. So I've had, I suppose, an eclectic career in education, moving through different roles and different organisations, depending on what stage of life we were with the family and things. But in and out of the classroom in private and public schools in Melbourne, a bit of consulting, bit of content writing, and then in 2016 I was teaching in a school in Melbourne and I discovered the global goals, the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals, and from there my world changed and everything became global education.
Right. So what are the Sustainable Development Goals in a kind of as a snapshot of them? We'll talk more about how they impact business and people and education.
So they follow on from the Millennium Goals, but these are 17 amazing goals that were devised in 2015. That's where the 15 part came from.
Yeah.
The United Nations all together to put these goals forward that everyone in the world can work towards in any shape or form. The aim is to get there by 2030 so that we all move forward, and there are goals there for all sorts of things. There's goals for poverty, there's goals for quality education, there's goals for life below water, life on land. And the idea is that whatever you do, you take these goals in hand and work towards global collaboration.
If we were miraculously able to meet all 17 by 2030, the world would be a whole lot of a better place. Is that?
The world would be a whole better place. It's like there's a wonderful campaign out at the moment that the Global Goals have put out, and they're called the World's To-Do List. And they are asking everyone in small steps or large steps to take them on board and work towards making a better planet, better environment sustainably for everyone.
And a fairer world and a more equitable.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Okay, so they're important, they're heavy in a sense, but it sounds like it's a lot of there's an obligation on everybody to understand them better and to do something about them. It's not other people's work. It's everybody individually should understand these goals.
Absolutely. Whether you are an individual, as you say, whether you're a school, whether you're a not-for-profit, whether you're a small business, whether you're a large corporation, everyone can take these on in some small way and all work together. And surprisingly, everyone finds that they're doing something already. They just didn't have it mapped already to a goal.
Yeah. So maybe there's people doing, and companies and businesses doing the right thing, and they just need to be reminded that you've actually already started. Perhaps you're doing something positive. So
absolutely,
break it down. Anyway, so you as you said, you were a full-time, an educator, and then you had this moment in 2016 when you realised there was a bigger world with bigger goals and bigger challenges and bigger opportunities. You then, when did you start your business, which is called Footprints on the Globe? Was that in 2016, or was it a little bit later?
It started sort of gently, but the big launch was in 2019. I resigned from my teaching job, which I really loved, and I loved working with a collection of children, a class of children, but I thought the global impact can be much greater if I launch this business. I applied and was successful in becoming a Teach Sustainable Development Goals Ambassador, which means that, obviously you promote the global goals wherever you go and encourage them to be embedded in everyone's lives, whether they're personal lives or business lives. And I just thought this is the way forward. So launched Footprints on the Globe in 2019.
It's a pretty cool name, I've got to say. You had a lifelong, vocation as an educator. Is Footprint on the Globe targeting just the education system? Is it you as a business owner I'm talking about here? Are you aiming to and seeing great hope in the kids to start to understand and embed the SDGs, or are you looking broader at also trying to educate businesses and other NGOs and government organisations about the SDGs in your role?
Well, the Footprints on the Globe is sort of a jack of all trades and will educate anyone who is interested and wants to find out more about these 17 global goals. My main thing is creating content and professional development for schools and educators, but also advising as to how companies can map what they're doing to the global goals already. So that might be that we start with a little bit of a stock take or a little bit of a work out what people are already doing, even if their business is two people or their business is huge, what you're already doing and then what you can do to move forward.
Are kids really our great hope here in terms of tackling these problems, or is it still about everybody, businesses? This is a small business show. Is it about small businesses also embracing the SDGs? Because I want to talk about how businesses, are impacted, whether they know it or not, by the SDGs.
Students, young students are the future, and it's a cliche, but education now is just full about design thinking and 21st century skills of problem solving and innovation and questioning and reasoning, and that's how they're learning at the moment. So they are willing to step up and have a go and try different things, and it's a completely different style of education. So that flows on as well. And I think the world of sustainability and climate change and climate action is really becoming in the forefront of people's minds, and people need to work out what they can do to help make our planet a better place for everyone. Yeah, as you say, that making it better it seems to embrace quite a lot of aspects. It's it is the environment, but it's also equality and it's access to opportunities. So, if you're a small business owner, you started in 2019. What are the like if you just picked a couple of the SDGs, the Sustainable Development Goals, what would be a couple that are the small business owner listening in is going, I want to be part of this. What are a couple of goals and a couple of ways that a typical small business could kind of start to get involved and understand more? The thing with the 17 global goals is they're like a kaleidoscope or a treasure trove of information there. There's something there for everyone. So you choose one that kick you off one that you think is interesting and resonates with you. So for small business, the one that comes to mind is number 12, which is responsible consumption and production. So if in your business you are recycling print cartridges, you have recycling in the office, you are aware of your sustainable practices, you're already working towards that goal. If you are a not-for-profit that is working with plastic pollution or ocean conservation, you're working towards number 14, life below water. So this is the first step, is to familiarise yourself with the goals, which are globalgoals.org, beautiful website there. Familiarise yourself with them, find something that resonates with you and just jump in, just start with something small. There are so many ideas and resources out there for businesses, for schools, for all sorts of corporations. Start small and build on.
Okay. So globalgoals.org is the website. Okay. And on today's edition of Small Business Banter Radio and podcast, we're talking with Annie Woollard, who's the founder of Footprint on the Globe. And we're talking sustainable development goals. So I want to kind of switch slightly now. As an educator, the education system and as it relates to small business, we've chatted here about how kids are so eager and willing and able to embrace change and new ways of thinking. What's your top line on how are we breeding in the right way, or are we producing some future business owners based on your experience with teaching in the traditional education system, and now outside of that in your own consultancy?
We certainly are. Teachers are amazing creative creatures because they're planning new ideas and new activities every week, every month. There is part of the Australian curriculum or economic and business, and we did in my previous role a responsible entrepreneurs unit of work where the students had to devise a small business that was connected to a global goal and work through all those stages of that. So again, as I said, we are creating students that are going to be more open to thinking and problem solving and questioning, and hopefully they are working through to thinking of, what business could I open myself and run? Yeah.
It sounds like these waves of kids coming out of school, now and in the next 5-10 years, they're going to be thinking SDGs anyway. They're going to be exposed to them, so they're going to go into workplaces as employees when they finish, school or university. Is that how you see it?
That is the plan. The knowledge of the global goals is sort of bubbling along, and I think everyone's involved with them, but then I realise that's in my global world. So there are lots of businesses, schools, individuals that are only just becoming aware of them. And, they are big goals. They are huge, huge goals. And some people will question, what can they do to work towards goal number 1, no poverty? But there are just small things that everyone can do. Even in every city, there are low socioeconomic areas that you can assist with tiny little steps of doing something. And then, moving through, hopefully we do have a whole lot of creative people out there that want to jump in and want to do something. And the concept too, as we all know, of finishing uni and having one job for the rest of your life, that doesn't happen anymore. So pivoting around, there's that P word, but changing ideas, changing track, changing your vocation, your destination, that's what's exciting.
Yeah, it's. I mean, the explosion in the third sector, the not-for-profit, for-purpose social enterprise. I think my kids that I've seen come through school, they're doing projects. They're kind of almost part of the curriculum now to get it, to get formally involved in something in community. So, what are some of the projects that in Footprint on the Globe you're working on at the moment? Can you expand on any of those for us?
Absolutely. One of them that I'm very involved with at the moment is for a not-for-profit, Take 3 for the Sea. And I've been designing and facilitating young leaders programs. The one that we've just finished was called Project Blue. We had a couple of hundred students on each week with us, and we went through, all based on the global goals again, but we went through the concept for 10 to 12-year-olds of what makes a leader, what character strengths does a leader have, then through the lens of plastic pollution and ocean conservation. And the students were all engaged to do waste audits and to do a 14-day challenge, again, changing their behaviour in some way, but then taking it further, because if you're taking action, you need to be able to tell people what you're doing. So then they would tell 3 people or their sphere of influence of what they were doing, so the ripple effect happens through as well.
Is this part of a an opportunity where some, like that Take 3 for the Sea, for example, and many others are starting to take the initiative and run these kind of programs, which I'm just interested in how that intersects with traditional education. Do they work together, or are they complementary, or are we seeing a shift in the way kids are educated and what parents might expect out of that education?
Well, a lot of these students were involved in lockdown and were remote learning. So we had some schools that signed up for that with their teachers.
Oh, okay. So it was cooperative with a school.
With some schools, but also individual parents signed their children up. And this is again through social media, awareness of these programs, awareness of extra things that are around that they can get involved with. And kids are interested, and they want to change the world.
Yeah, so that shines through, does it? Like, you're comfortable, obviously comfortable in front of a class of children online or off, in a Zoom or whatever. So you're just seeing that bubbling through. The kids are really embrace these opportunities and the SDGs.
Yeah, absolutely. And we've seen it all with the school strike for climate action that's been happening. They're all different campaigns, especially the young adults now. You just have to look at what they're interested in, and times are changing. And I think one major thing that COVID has told us or taught us is that the world is just truly connected. What happens on one side of the world affects the other side of the world, and we're foolish if we think we're sitting in our own little silo and it doesn't affect us, and it does. So we do need to work together to see if we can get these goals achieved by 2030.
Yeah, we could start with our states in Australia working together a bit more effectively on the same line of thinking. Again, back to small business, the audience, I want to encourage them to understand more about the SDGs. And I'm guessing, depending on the age, that business owners with their children are having these conversations anyway. It seems to be bubbling through the education system. But why should these businesses, the small ones particularly, big ones can, they've got the budget and they can, they seem to be doing a pretty good job of explaining to customers that they're sustainable or whatever they might be. They've got, loads of money. But when things are tight in business, which is the case for many now, is there a competitive advantage for a small business to really be brave and say, this is what we stand for and we support some of these things? Is it another way of marketing? I'm fascinated as to how you would pitch that to the owner of a small business.
That's a really good question, because we've all seen on the big corporations on their fancy pants websites, they have a sustainability page, and small businesses might be thinking, well, we don't have the resources to put that all out there. But to say that you're aligned with certain sustainable development goals or global goals, you call them either one, that you're aligned with them and that you're working through with them, and even if it's one or two, it shows that you are a business that is aware of the global connections and that you are taking action for small things. The wonderful thing about the global goals as well is they don't cost you anything. So even just putting them on your website and saying, we support goal number 12, again, the responsible consumption and production, or we support climate action, and how you do that. And you put down 3 ideas on your website of how you do support that. And it can be as simple. Climate action is a simple one as turn the air conditioner off and open the window. So any little idea, you should promote it of what you're doing. And that's step one, is work out what you're doing already, because I know a lot of small businesses and schools and all sorts of things will say we can't take on another thing. Well, you're already doing all these small actions. So tell the world that you're doing these small actions and put the global goals on your website.
Yeah, it's a bit like breaking something that looks monstrous into some small steps, and well, actually, we've already started.
Yeah.
So, as a business owner yourself, you took a big step to leave, a career. How have you found the transition to being a solopreneur or a business startup owner?
Well, it was a leap of faith, and the easy option would have been to stay teaching, where I was very happy, and just roll in, roll out. But I just thought, this is what I want to do, and you've just got to, jump in. And I thought, what's the worst thing that can happen? It doesn't work. And of course, it has worked, and it's still growing and still developing. But I think to challenge yourself, to try something and give it a go.
We want to be distilling these sorts of behaviours into kids and our future business owners as well. That it's not all risk-free, and you just got to be calculated and understand what your fallback is. So it's great to see you, and driven by sounds like a very deep connection to the Sustainable Development Goals, to take that leap of faith. So well done on that. What is a day in the life, of building a business? In fact, it's a global business. So what's a day in the life of, if someone was considering doing something themselves, how do you go about framing up your day to build a business from scratch?
Well, I was very lucky, and I had a wonderful advisor who would give me advice and guide me through different things. But it was basically building something and working out, who my contacts would be. I had to approach a lot of people, and I've got really good at that now, of just connecting on LinkedIn, starting a conversation, and following through. And that's how a lot of my contracts or work have developed, just by building up a relationship with someone that I didn't know. So you have to sort of push yourself and work out who is aligned with you and who you could work well together in a two-way atmosphere, and chase that down.
Right. So, if you boil that all down, it sounds like just that sort of grinding, sales and business development stuff where you've got to show up, you've got to reach out, you've got to try and sell, in inverted commas, what you're doing, what you care about. So, yeah, that's it's a model. I don't think anybody, I don't think many people are going to end up or land in a business where it's all laid out in front of them. It's just, I think this is one of the things that's just the grunt work. Just has to be done.
Yeah, I think the word sell, that's harsh, because I was sort of really working on building a relationship with aligned companies. So I was never there saying, all right, I can do this for you, blah, blah, blah. We're just working together to form a relationship. And a lot of these people, due to COVID, I haven't met face to face. It's all been virtually. But building amazing working relationships by just getting to know what they stand for, what I stand for, how we could help each other. As I said, a two-way street. Yeah.
No, that's a good way to reframe that. It's, I do sometimes think of it as, I call it sales in inverted commas, but yeah, it's taking, it's reaching out and saying, look, I'm passionate about this. I care about this. I can help you. We can help each other. And yeah, but it doesn't happen unless you take that first step. And so your business has more or less grown up through this, intriguing recent past where, you kind of everything stop-start and you've got to work from home a lot. So well done on persisting through that. We're coming up to the end, unfortunately, Annie, but is there any sort of blogs or people that, as a startup owner, anybody that you particularly, follow or admire, or any resources that you kind of tap into for great ideas to keep you motivated and keep you on track day to day?
There are a couple of things. I'm really into Twitter, and what started was sort of, like a general mishmash of different things, but now it's just filled with global education. And global education doesn't just mean schools. Education is educating anyone that wants to learn something new. So Twitter's my go-to, this amazing community of people who are interested in sustainability, people who are interested in the global goals. My LinkedIn connections as well started just really businessy, and now that's, again, just people who are working with the Sustainable Development Goals. So advice would be, search around. If you're on Twitter, search the global goals and see what comes up. LinkedIn, again, follow all those things through.
Excellent. Yeah, it sounds like you've really taken the initiative to get started. Thank you for your time today, Annie. Do you want to just tell us what the website name of your business is, and then we'll we wish you well with your endeavours and great work to educate kids, but also organisations about what's possible.
Thanks, Mike, for having me. Website is footprintsontheglobe.com.au. Focusing on the global goals, my advice to anyone who's interested, just jump in, go for an explore, see what's around, see what grabs your interest.
Yeah, let's do something together. Thanks, Annie.
Thanks, Michael.
So that is all for today's episode of Small Business Banter. I continue to be inspired bringing you small business experts and other small business owners and hearing their stories. If you want to listen to any past episode, jump onto your podcast platform of choice and search Small Business Banter. There you will find a diverse and fascinating collection of small business owners and experts openly discussing and sharing their experiences. For any of the links, resources or information we've talked about on the show today, or to contact me, please head over to smallbusinessbanter.com, or you can find us on Facebook and Instagram. And it would be great to have you tune in the same time next week for another episode of Small Business Banter.